Hi there, Salam Alaikum. This is Yazdi from Boulder, Colorado, and this video is going to be about what is Ramadan, the month during which Muslims all over the world fast. Now, first of all, Salam Alaikum means peace be upon you. It's the way that Muslims greet each other. Now, I first want to make it clear that the intent of this video is to really just educate people on Ramadan. Now, it's not to impose my beliefs or change anyone else's beliefs, just purely educational purposes and letting people know what it is. Now, I don't consider myself a dedicated student of Islam, but I am a practicing Muslim, and I'm by no means an authority on the subject, so please understand that you can find much more credible sources out there, but I'd like to share some of my ideas. Now, the first part of the video, I'm going to talk about the facts regarding Ramadan and fasting, and the second part more kind of the philosophy and my personal beliefs on it. So first of all, what is fasting? It is the act of not eating or drinking anything between the time that the sun comes up till the sun goes down, okay? So right now here in Boulder, Colorado, currently, the sun comes up at about 4 o'clock in the morning and goes down about 8:30, 8:45-ish. I'm not exactly sure on the time. So, you know, there's a period of about 16 and a half hours of not eating or drinking anything. Now, the month of Ramadan for Muslims is the 9th month of the lunar calendar. And the lunar calendar is really based on the moon. So when we have a new moon, it's when you can't see the moon. Halfway through the month is when you have a full moon, and then towards the end again, you can't see the moon, you have a new moon. So the 9th month is Ramadan. And compared to the Gregorian calendar, the one that here in the US we use, it's 365 days, Ramadan moves back 10 days every year because it's based on the moon and not so much the rotation of the planet and the sun. And so I remember when I was a kid and I started fasting, just practicing it, I remember that we went through a phase of, winter and then came back to summer, and so it changes. Now, there's 5 main pillars to Islam. The first pillar is, fasting is one of the main pillars, one of those 5 pillars. The first one is believing in only one God, so it's a monotheistic religion. And by the way, it's the same God that Christians and Jews and many other, beliefs systems believe in. Allah is just an Arabic translation, basically, of what God is in Arabic, so it's the same concept. So that's the first pillar, a monotheistic religion, believing in only one God. Second pillar is to give to charity. And third is to pray. We pray 5 times a day as Muslims. The fourth is to fast during the month of Ramadan. And the fifth is to conduct the pilgrimage to Mecca once during someone's lifetime. So I'm going to focus on that pillar of fasting, okay? So we talked about what fasting is. And now I want to talk about why we fast. And this is more my personal beliefs. So there's a few different things. First of all, it increases your control over your body, okay? And your kind of earthly desires and materialistic desires. And so, so much as, having food and water whenever you want it. I mean, we've been blessed to be fortunate enough to have, these amenities at whenever we wanted, our leisure. You can drink something or eat something whenever you want. Well, when it comes to actually controlling yourself and increasing your willpower and actually gaining more control over your life and being able to increase that willpower. And so really it's a practice of doing that. And, fasting is something that's been in many different religions as well. In fact, there's a verse in the Quran that says that, fasting has been basically commanded upon you as it was to those before you. And so basically, and I know in Judaism and Christianity, there's also forms of fasting. And I have lots of friends who are Christians who fast and lots of friends who are Jews who fast. And so really it's a process of being able to increase your awareness of yourself and just really bring back your mind to what you can control and increase that level of awareness. So basically, when you can control yourself from eating and drinking, then you can generally control the other limbs and your other, you can increase your willpower. And so really it's a whole, all-inclusive. On the outside it's just eating and drinking, but really it also goes down to, making sure that you're honest, being more aware of what you're saying, not engaging in gossip or, spreading rumors and a lot of things, telling the truth and, really all that encompasses the whole concept of being more aware of your faith in this month, okay? So, if someone's fasting and then they're gossiping all day, well, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of, doing the fast. Now, the reason that it happens on an annual basis is because, we have in our lives, there's this reality, and actually in thermodynamics, there's a term called entropy. Now, I'm not going to get all technical, I studied this in school, but entropy is, in short, it's basically the tendency of things to become more disorganized, okay? The tendency of everything going from a sense of being more organized to less organized, okay? And it's also part of the second law of thermodynamics for those who are familiar. And a similar analogy is in your room is messy until you do work on it. If you don't touch your room, it's just going to be messy. Well, it's kind of like that with our faith. And the reason why we pray 5 times a day and lots of other religions, pray on a daily basis is because, you start your faith and then after a while you start forgetting God maybe and thinking more about the things around you, in your life. And then you pray and you kind of get a little boost again and then, it goes down. And so for Muslims, it's 5 times a day you get that boost. And then you get that major boost once a year with the month of Ramadan to really, reflect on your faith and where you've come in terms of where you want to be with your religion and your beliefs and, in this faith. And so that's really what I believe is the importance of it, is to just, kind of refresh. It's kind of like just, immersing yourself and cleansing your body and making sure that you really do have control over your body and you don't have to succumb to these, other earthly desires, okay? Now, another thing I want to talk about is other benefits that I've seen of fasting. And one of the biggest benefits is to relate to people who are hungry, people who don't have the blessings of being able to eat and drink whenever they want to. It's really important to understand that when I feel hungry, maybe I'm feeling something that I haven't felt in a long time. But that's something that a lot of people all over the world have to go through every single day. That's their constant daily struggle. And so it makes me more inclined to want to help charity and relate to people who haven't been as fortunate as I have. Now, first of all, who is supposed to fast? I mean, obviously we don't expect, little kids or, babies to fast, and we don't expect people who are very old or not healthy to fast. See, the intent is not to torture yourself, okay? Sometimes I get migraines when I fast, and when I get a really severe migraine, hey, I'll break my fast. I'll drink some water. Again, these are my personal beliefs. This is my understanding of the religion. My understanding is that it wasn't, fasting didn't come to hurt ourselves and to, to torture ourselves, okay? And so my wife, for example, is breastfeeding. We just had a baby a couple weeks ago, and obviously it's not healthy for her to fast. She has to have the nutrients to be able to feed the baby, so it's not something that would be healthy for her to fast. It wouldn't make sense, and so she is exempt from fasting, okay, at least this year. People who are going through some health issues, they shouldn't fast either, okay? So please understand that the concept is, it might be a little bit difficult, it can definitely help me overcome some of the difficulties, but if I get to a point to where it's hurting me and it's really not healthy, I'm going to break my fast, okay? And then maybe make up for it later. Another thing I want to come across is that there's also something that's really nice, that's enjoyable about fasting. Now, I've fasted in Muslim countries where most people are fasting, and I've also fasted in other countries, and there are some difficulties with that, Everyone's on their lunch break and eating and, in front of me, and sometimes I might get a little tempted, but, only just increases the willpower that I need. But sometimes people ask me, what's the most enjoyable part about Ramadan? Well, for me, by far, it's the aspect of when everybody's getting together as a family and breaking their fast. It's a time that, the sun goes down, we call it iftar, which is the time that we break our fast, and everyone's hungry and we're just all together, and that sense of community, that sense of everyone coming together, the oneness, and knowing that there's so many people around the world, all the Muslims around the world are all fasting, and it gives this sense of oneness, and really creates that sense of accountability and desire of being a better person, and knowing that I'm not alone here. And so it's that sense of community, really. I think that's the word I was looking for. But so that's really Ramadan. That's the concept of fasting. Okay, it goes on for about 29 days, depending on the lunar month in this particular month. And if you know any Muslims, maybe this will help you just have a little more information to converse with them, and maybe you'll be a little more mindful to not offer them food when they're fasting, because it just makes it more difficult. But leave me a comment if you have any questions. I'll try to answer. Like I said, I'm not really the wealth of knowledge when it comes to Islam. I'm just sharing my beliefs, and I've noticed a lot of benefits myself through fasting, and any form of fasting. If you're struggling with losing weight, or if you're struggling with building a better relationship with your spouse or your significant other, or whether it is that you just want to discipline yourself to quit smoking, well, fasting is a good way to really increase your willpower. And I would consider any commitments to try to increase your willpower a form of fasting. Okay, and that we see that in all different belief systems and all different religions, of some form of trying to break away from something that you crave or you desire, so that you can increase your willpower and control over yourself and become ultimately a better person. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this was educational. Again, I don't mean to offend anybody. If my facts were off, I apologize. I tried my best. And, I encourage for all of you out there who are fasting, I appreciate that sense of community that we're all helping each other out in. For those who aren't, I'm sure there are things in your life that you may want to incorporate related to the same philosophies that I explained in this video. God bless. I hope this was helpful. Again, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hamid Yazdi from Boulder, Colorado, and I wish you the best. Thank you for watching.